Hi everyone, welcome to your full predictive outlook for Aries season. Happy astrological new year, solar new year to you in what are difficult, challenging circumstances, I feel, for pretty much anyone watching, although obviously we're all affected in different ways. Take the time to settle in if you're able. Get yourself sat down or lying down. I'm fully aware there may be a lot of sitting down or lying down time for quite a few of us at the moment, and that's okay. And yes, we know what's going on in the world at the moment, and that's probably going to show up in the readings as we go through them. But just for this moment in time, allow yourselves to breathe. Allow the air to actually cleanse your system. Allow yourself to feel fresh, to feel free, to feel new. Because it is a new astrological year. So despite the backdrop, we are being reborn at this time. So whatever you're carrying with you, all the fear, everything that you picked up, all the information, programming you might have picked up, maybe from watching too much news. Yes, you want to stay vigilant to things, but there's such a thing as taking in a bit too much, where it gets on top of you and clouds you to the point where you don't feel you can do anything. So as you breathe out, just allow some of that to go. Allow your heart to feel a little freer. Being heart-centered, being love-centered, focusing on each other at this time. This is what's going to carry us through this. Hi to those just tuning in. Hi, Renee. Hi, Cosmos Forever. If you're here, please do say hi in the chat. Please remember to like and share the video if you're able. So we all know what we're dealing with, and that's okay. That's okay. Okay to be fearful as well. As long as it doesn't take over, we can admit to our fears. It's better than repressing them. It's better than pretending that we don't have any, that we're all the way there, which in turn can lead to a false sense of security, which in turn can lead to making mistakes, which in turn can lead to endangering people, and that's not necessary. So just be where you are, be with who you are, be with your own process around this. Hi, Melinda. You're not having to think too far ahead at this time. Yes, some of us have financial worries. Yes, some of us have health worries. Some people are more susceptible to getting sick than others. We're all going to be dealing with the reality of this virus and of death being around us for some time as well. You know, this isn't something that goes away overnight, and maybe people close to you will get sick and some will pass, and maybe they won't, but other people will. And this is about that bigger picture. Now, you think back right to the start of 2020 and what we talked about at that time, what we talked about this year being about. And no, we didn't sit there and say there's going to be a viral pandemic, but we talked about the values that we hold, the values that we carry, being able to act in integrity with those. What does it mean to be inclusive? What does it mean to be compassionate? What does it mean in practice? Now we're finding out. Now we're finding out, and now we're seeing who we really are as a society and individually. And from there, we make a choice as to where we go next. Not in the most favorable circumstances, not in our chosen circumstances, but in the reality of what we have collectively created and stepped into at this time. There will always be viral pandemics, although there are reasons why this one has come about that are to do with living quite out of balance with nature. But it's not a punishment. It's not telling you that you're wrong to be here. It is about how we live our lives. And in the midst of this, it's about how we relate to each other, how we ensure we're taking steps that mean that we're not risking other people, but at the same time, how we take steps that ensure we're not giving away our own personal power and agency into needless way. Because we're seeing the faces of our governments now as well, for good and for bad, as well as the faces of individuals. We're seeing what drives them. We're seeing some good steps. We're seeing some very regressive steps. We're seeing what their priorities are. We're seeing who they prioritize. Is it people's lives? Is it the economy ticking over? We're seeing this stuff. In the midst of it, we're also seeing people helping each other on a massive scale, taking care of each other on a massive scale, looking out for each other on a massive scale. All of this is, I say, like, we talk about reshaping the world, we talk about where we want to go, and that's going to come together in time. But the way we relate to each other here is important. Being vigilant, looking out for each other, but not fearing each other. You know, these are not the same thing. These are not the same thing. We're also seeing who's important to the people in power, and we're seeing who's important to us. And if who's important to us is based on any form of bigotry, discrimination, whatever, then there's a problem. You know, like, there are people more at risk at this time, but we're all affected. We're all affected. There are people at risk financially at this time, people falling through those gaps as well. You know, go out and speak to people who are street homeless at this time. If you're able, give them some money. Give them some money if no one's giving them somewhere to be. So they can at least try and get themselves into a space overnight. But pressure on governments to actually give them somewhere to be where they can also distance themselves appropriately. Because otherwise, what happens, you know? It's all of that. Obviously, if you're carrying something yourself, you're at risk yourself, don't expose yourself to people unnecessarily. But help. Look out for those who are the worst hit, because that is who is going to need the help the most. That's the practical stuff. But it is about what values we want to carry forward, where we want to go moving forward. All of this is vital. Okay? You know, do I have fears? Yes. Do my friends have fears? Yes. You know, I look at the people around me. Those who have wages, salaries, are being looked out for to an extent. Those who own homes are being looked out for to an extent. Those who don't, freelancers, sex workers, homeless people, disabled people, look out for those who are not being looked out for at this time, because you can't hope to create a better society going forward if those people fall down, fall away, don't get supported at this time. All that does is lead us into a world where some people get met, others don't, and it increases the disparity when we need to be decreasing it. So it's all of this. All of this. If you are being looked after financially, if you are going to be more okay, if you're getting wages, if you can switch to working from home, remember to help out those who can't, whether they're working, whether they don't have a guaranteed income, whether they're sick or disabled, share some money, throw some money their way. We have to learn to share. I know it's obvious, but some people have been going without for a very, very long time, and they're going to be even harder hit at this time. Some people have been very, very comfortable. Now maybe feeling a little less comfortable. The most comfortable are actually going on as normal, and that's something to watch out for as well. This stuff has to change. It does. I'm going to start to tap the collective energy. But this is a time to consider what it means to be spiritual, what it means in a real sense, what it means to have love for everyone out there. What does that mean? What does that mean? Because it can't be an I'm all right attitude. Well, I'm set up, I can work from home, I'm still getting paid, so I'm all right. It's like, okay. And everyone who isn't, what are you doing for them? How are you helping? How are you helping? If you joined a mutual aid group, are you contacting your friends? Are you contacting your relatives? Are you contacting people who live alone? Are you buddying up with people who need your help? Because no, what you can't do is go and see 100 different people. That's how this stuff spreads. But are you looking out for those who are isolated? All of that. All of that. Are you doing so in a caring way, or are you doing so as you can virtue signal? Be like, I did this. I did this. Aren't I wonderful? I don't give a fuck if you're wonderful. Just go and help as much as you can in safe and considerate ways where you're able to. Check in with people. Do you have the capacity to volunteer in a safe and sanitary way? If so, can you do that? There are organizations who need your help. Things like this. Things like this. We do have to avoid the me, me, me attitude. We also have to avoid the clinging attitude. It's very, very interesting. Melinda has just asked, have you seen the meme with the Four of Pentacles, with the Pentacles changed to toilet paper? Guess what the first card out is today, Melinda? Four of Pentacles. So what does that mean? That means, and that's the subconscious card that I've pulled for the collective. What does that mean in practice for us at this time? I think we already know. Don't you think we already know? On a subconscious level, this is the deep societal programming. This is 4 decades of neoliberal ideology. You know, this is Thatcher, it's Reagan, it's everything that's come since then. Okay, this is Ayn Rand. This is the me, me, me. We're all individuals. We're not a society. It's this attitude. It's this hyper-individual focus that leaves certain people and groups of people to rot, pushes them to the outside. That's where, incidentally, the hoarding comes from. I'm not talking about the hoarding of money by the super rich, which is a whole other matter, because that's who benefits from this all the way through. But if you're going out and buying more than you need because you want to fill up a bunker of products or whatever else, it goes without saying that this is what is driving you. That is the bullshit that has been fed for 40 years that has to be cut out, cut away from you. It will screw you up. It will screw the world up. It's been screwing the world up for so fucking long, and now we have a window to do things differently because we can see what the system that has built looks like at this time. Four of Pentacles is also this idea of scarcity. It's the idea of scarcity. Therefore, you have to go and get everything for yourself. For yourself. And fuck everyone else then. Not good, not good, not good, but it's what is driving us on a societal level, and we are seeing ourselves exposed and unmasked for that at this time. The conscious picture. Queen of Wands. And I mentioned that virtue signaling, that showing off in some sense. And that doesn't mean that you can't post quarantine selfies or isolation selfies or whatever else. It does. But help from the heart as well. You see, we're in a place where we can do things, acting individually and collectively, but it does need to be a collective focus, okay? And this is Aries season. Here's the Queen of Wands. Okay. Are we going to shine? Are we going to shine at our best in whatever we do? Are we going to help? Are we going to actually be able to stand up in a genuine way, or is it in a way that is posing? Can't be both. Can't be both. What's the past energy? Two of Wands. You had a lot of plans for this year. You weren't planning this. You are not doing what you planned. So fuck that. Those plans have gone. Got to adapt. Got to be in the moment. And the sun moves into Aries. The sun exalts in Aries. And here is the sun as the present energy. Focus your intentions. Focus on how you want this to go. Focus on a vision of being able to come through this collectively, looking out for each other, of not ever again allowing governments to create the situation that we have now, where businesses were kept open too long, where there isn't the healthcare to cope in most countries, where people are stuck wondering, where is the money going to come from? Am I going to be okay? We have to have a vision of something better at this moment. That's the present energy. It's powerful. The sun grows things, provides support. So where are you focusing your energy and your intent at this time? The sun reminds us that we are a collective, that we are together on this. This is hope and optimism as well. Feel into that. Feel into that belief. You have to be able to move forward. Now, does that mean that we all have a ready-made solution? No, it doesn't. This is the future. Temperance. Temperance is healing. Finding a way through this. Not lurching between extremes. It's how we come together, how we build something differently, how we do something different. Powerful. Powerful. So fuck this. Cut that out of yourself. Forget what you'd planned for this year, because you've got to adapt. This is the present. This is the future. It's not bad. Not bad. And you're going to have to pace and balance yourselves through this, but you are being supported at this time. Also about then offering support at this time. And make it sustainable as well. Make it sustainable. Don't burn yourselves out. Here's the shadow card for the collective. Knight of Wands. Twofold. Are you going to push yourself too hard? Be too impulsive? Catch yourself when you're doing that. But the other part of it is stop looking for heroes. Stop looking for someone to lead us out of this. Gonna do this together. The only way. Okay? We have leaders, and the leaders are fucking us in various ways, and we're seeing the impact of it. It has to be collective and balanced, and it has to be sustainable. That's the collective energy for Aries season. Fun, right? I'm going to move on now to the 12 signs. Hi to everyone just tuning in. It's wonderful to see you. Please remember to like and share the video if you're able. I will move on from Aries through to Pisces. It's going to be areas of focus and development over the next month for each of the 12 signs, starting with Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The Sun has entered your sign, Aries. So what does this month look like for you? Yeah. Time to swallow your pride, Aries. Time to swallow your pride. You are an individual sign. You are a sign that loves freedom. And now suddenly that's compromised. And what does that mean? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? What do you do when that freedom is suddenly not there in that way? You're coming in with the Tower, Aries. The situation's hit you hard. You don't always like to admit when something's hit you hard. You don't. It scares you. It's okay to be scared at this time. This is a real fear for you. A real fear to have to stay in one place in this way, to I want to say to have to do things with other people more for a lot of you. You're not used to that. Very solitary sign, outgoing, but solitary. You're trying just the Nine of Swords. Enjoying this so far, Tower and the Nine of Swords. What you are doing, Aries, is learning to deal with your role as part of a wider group of people this month. And yeah, it means you're not going to be the center of attention necessarily, even on your birthday if you're an Aries sun. Four of Cups is your advice card, Aries. Time to chuck out some of that baggage. Time to get centered. You are going inwards at this time. You have to. You have to, because the things that you normally do that you like doing, they're not available to you in the same way. But coming out of it, Aries, you are going to make new connections with people. You are going to find out who's actually important to you, what's actually important to you, how you can connect in a more real way. Jettison the crap. That is your theme for your month, Aries? What's needed from you? What you are going to find through this is that a lot of your fears are unfounded. And it's that fear of being confined, of having to be more consistent in something, of doing something for longer, of doing something more collectively, more collaboratively. Being part of that, Aries, not easy for you. But that's your work for this month. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Taurus. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. I've had a card jump out for you, Taurus. And keep that as an extra advice card for you on this occasion. So Taurus, what's Aries season like for you? What's the stereotype that we all know about Taurus? Can ask if it's true or not, but what's the stereotype? That Taurus stays at home, eats, this kind of stuff. It's a materially focused sign. Of course, Taurus also likes getting paid. Taurus, you're going to be reconsidering what's actually important to you at this time. Actually important to you. Surprisingly destabilizing for you. This is the interesting thing. You come in with the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is that closed off energy, solitary energy, but it's almost like you're going to feel a bit bored, a bit restless within this in practice. And you're going to have to start to trace where that comes from. Like beyond the obvious that you can point to in the outside world. What I get the sense of is that you're going to be starting to assess and analyze parts of your life that you're a bit dissatisfied with. The good, the bad. You're going to be making changes coming out of this. Realigning your values rather than sticking to the routines that you feel have served you so well, but in practice have trapped you. Five of Cups. And Five of Wands. So are you satisfied with your routines, your relationships, the stories you've told yourself about them? Somewhere within this, a part of you is going to start to yearn to connect to people in a different way. Maybe things are good, maybe things are bad for you in general, Taurus. But there is this restlessness, listlessness, this sense that I can't keep going on doing things like this. I can't. So what do you crave? Emotional closeness, emotional understanding, feeling part of an emotional bond or many emotional bonds. It doesn't have to be an individual one. 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups, Taurus. That's what jumped out. Do your relationships actually meet your needs? Do your routines meet your needs? You know, I talked about building a collective focus, and it is, but part of that is choosing who we're close to within that. I feel you reassessing that, Taurus. I feel you figuring out who and what is important to you. And I feel you making a concerted decision to move on in that direction. And that also includes processing a lot of the hurt and disappointment that has led you to be so rigid, regimented, structured in this particular way. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Gemini. Gemini, sun, moon, and rising for Aries season. Gemini. Gemini. Got a sinking feeling with you, Gemini. A sinking feeling. There is some dissatisfaction. There's also a sadness about not being able to escape this situation, Gemini. You may have to sit with that sadness, feel into that sadness, to come to an understanding of what I feel for a lot of you are coping methods or escapism or a way that you prop yourself up. Come in as the King of Swords. You're an air sign, Gemini, so that dispassionate nature, that distance from emotion, from feelings, even from people at times. Where does it come from? What drives it? What have you been trying to escape from? I have the Four of Cups showing up for you as well. I also have the Devil showing up for you as your advice card. How committed are you to any one thing? How much do you strive not to be connected, not to be emotionally dependent, not to be in on that level? When you can choose, when you can pull away at your whim, that's fine. When things are out of reach and that's not in your control, well, that's not fun, is it? It's not fun. So let's talk about control with the Devil. Striving to control. What do you actually depend upon, Gemini? What do you depend upon? Or what do you depend upon the ability to at least be able to access? How does that influence you? How does that drive you? You're going to come out of this month with a clearer picture of what's important to you, Gemini. That's what I feel you connecting to. And it's not what you thought. It's not what you told yourself. Re-evaluation. I need this, or I need to be able to have this, or I need to be able to walk away from this. Free will agency, good. Need, The clinging that comes from that, less good. You got time to deal with that, and it's not a fun process for you. I want to say that because it's a sinking feeling. It is something that you might normally try to run away from, keep yourself occupied, doing this, doing this, doing this, doing this. No, stillness. Stillness, coming to grips with, coming to terms with that for you this month, Gemini. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Cancer. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Cancer. Sorry, I'm just noticing Melinda. Melinda says, I even found frozen fucking pomegranate seeds in my freezer. Pomegranates are a fruit of Mabon, which was yesterday's equinox. So you found some pomegranate. Did you eat the pomegranate, Melinda? Eating pomegranate that you found comes with certain obligations, certain commitments that I'm sure you're aware of. Going to be an interesting time for you. But I digress. Cancer. I mean, usually that you have to spend 6 months of the year in the underworld, Melinda. Cancer, you're in a bit of a cynical place. Bit of a cynical place. Judging. Watching but silently judging the world around you, people's behaviors. But within that, there's a bit of a fear. Are they coming for me? Are they coming for me? Is this coming for me? So it's vigilance. It's vigilance, but there may be that may move into a fear place for you, Cancer. May move into a fear place for you. 5 of Wands. It's a conflict card, and we're seeing it a lot. Standing apart from other people. I mean, this is actually a really good allegory for social distancing, but at the same time, you might be more than physically apart from people. You might be separating yourself in various ways, Cancer. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about a tendency to over-separate, over-isolate, see the difference with a lot of people. Can you pull back from that? Can you allow people to show you something different, Cancer? I have the 3 of Wands for you. I also have the 3 of Swords for you as your advice card. Did you ever consider that you might be cynical or suspicious of the wrong people? We're all going to get to know each other much more closely in some ways during this time when we're actually physically apart. Going to start to expose ourselves in various ways. Don't assume that the people you distrust going into this will be those you distrust coming out of it, and don't assume that the people that you trust going into it will be the ones you trust going out of it. At the same time, I want to stress this, that Three of Swords showing up. Don't sabotage relationships and connections unnecessarily, Cancer. I have to be honest, with the Three of Swords showing up, you may lose someone close to you if you're a Cancer watching this. I want to be honest. That's not a fun piece of imagery. Now, this can affect everyone, and everyone ultimately, look, there's going to be death around us. Cancer, you seem to be particularly worried about this, I want to say. So this may not even be an indicator that you're going to go through this, but it's a worry. Big, big worry. Okay? Fear of being around death. Death's going to be around us. Death is going to be around all of us for some time. It always is, but more so it's more obvious. Part of our development is going to be having to live with that. It would be if we were in a major war or anything else. It's a part of our lives. Cancer, some of you, I want to say, are beyond vigilance. You're in fear, and this is going to cause you problems. You've got a lot to release around that. But mostly you've got to be suspending judgment at this time where possible. I hope that makes sense for you. There's good coming. You're seeing, there's good that you can see in people every day if you look at this time. There is. People are doing amazing, heroic, loving things. Can you allow yourself to see that, Cancer? Next sign is going to be Leo. Leo's sun, moon, and rising for Aries season. Leo is actually going to handle this a bit better than some of the other signs. Obviously, we can all handle it well if we go about it right, but as a starting position, Leo. Another sign coming in with the Four of Cups. Are you spotting the patterns here? So it's shown up a lot. Are you going to be the center of attention? Not so much. Not so much. However, I feel like you're going to, those of you who are staying at home, and obviously some people are still working, but I feel like with all of it, with all the restriction, with all the slowing down, you're going to handle this okay, Leo. You're going to handle this okay. It's a very feely, emotional energy for you because it's all cups for you as well. So you put out a little bit, but you're handling it. You're handling it through dreaming of something better. Seven of Cups. This is also why you don't want to be lurching too hard. You are spending time resting, Leo. Seven of Cups is there as your challenge. This is also, incidentally, don't take uninformed or unnecessary risks, Leo. You're going to handle this just fine as long as you're not trying to show off. Little warning there for you. So again, don't rush to conclusions. Don't rush to decisions. Take your time. With the Six of Cups. It's your advice card, Leo. Who's important to you? Who's close to you? Who do you feel most connected to? Who can you open your heart to that bit more? Who have you lost touch with? Who do you not have contact with often enough? Who can you click in with at this time? What are the connections that you can rebuild? Who's going to lift your heart? Who can you open to that bit more? When you have to slow down, when you can't just keep doing, who can you connect with in a deeper way, Leo? Heart is going to guide you through this one. It has to. I feel deep connection, possible reconnection, possible expansion as well. And those people are going to be open to you. They're going to be available to you where they can be. Some are not. Some people you're going to find are a bit fly by night. Some people won't be there for you at this time, Leo. Some will. Maybe they're stepping out of the past. Maybe they're new. Maybe they're existing relationships that are deepening, but they're going to show themselves for you at this time, Leo. And you're going to know who your heart connects to in a deeper way. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Virgo. Virgo's sun, moon, and rising for Aries season. Virgo. Virgo. No, Virgo, you don't deal well with sickness. We know this, okay? Like, we get germs, viruses. That's not something Virgo is fond of. By the same token, stop assuming that you're going to get sick. Stop assuming that. You're more likely to struggle financially than physically at this time. Within that, you're having to let go. You're having to slow down. Even though you're an earth sign, there's a big part of you that desperately wants to get forward, move forward, get out of here, get out of here, get forward, get forward. I need to be there. I need to be at that stage in my life. I need to be doing that. Well, you can't. You can't so much. 8 of Wands. It's your situation, but that is stopping, okay? Stopping. Can't magic yourself forward at this time. I have the 5 of Pentacles as your challenge card. I actually want to look at this because obviously these are pentacles. They're the earth suit, but viruses are a living thing, okay? Here's you hiding away. I can't do this. I can't do that. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get sick. You might be taking too many precautions. Might be isolating yourself a bit too much. Might be averse to asking for help, to giving help. Be very fearful at this time with the moon in the background, Virgo. seeing the threat everywhere. But in the process, you might be closing off. You might be denying yourself love. Denying yourself loving connection. You might be so bound up in the fear and the reticence and the hiding away that for some of you is more than it might need to be. That you close off to love when love wants to find you. In the midst of this, Virgo, some of you are going to actually have some kind of new relationship starting. And maybe you'll be in touch with them online. Maybe it's somebody who's around you who you're going to open to more. But with the Ace of Cups as your advice card, this is good news, Virgo. Okay, this is good. We go into the springtime, look what you're getting. But if you're just trying to tunnel ahead, shut out the world, close everything out, you don't get it. You don't. There has to be an openness within you. Less of this, more openness to this, Virgo. Love's going to carry you through. Don't close off to it. I hope that makes sense for you, Virgo. The next sign is going to be Libra. Libra, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Libra. Libra. Libra's already jealous that that Virgo got the love reading. Libra's more like, does this mean that I'm never going to find love, or I'm going to lose everyone, or what am I going to do? Remember that you're the mature expression, the cardinal expression of air, Libra. You can do better than that. So it sounds rough for the Virgos. Look, a lot of them are going to fall in love this month, Melinda. It's not that rough. The rest they're doing to themselves, to be honest. What did I say, Libra? Before I turned the cards over, what did I say? That you're jealous of... You can't make this up. Okay, you're jealous of Virgo getting the love reading. That... oh my goodness, am I going to lose everyone? What am I going to do? Well, you've done this to yourselves, okay? You got the Lovers, you got the Hermit, and you got the Nine of Swords, and you got no one to blame but yourselves. And I'm a Libra rising, so that goes for me as well. And I had not seen those when I was pulling that through, but there you go. So, Libra, what's the situation? Neediness, attachment. Yes, you're the sign of relationships. Yes, you don't like being alone. Yes, you've got to spend time alone as the Hermit at this time. You know, ironically, that's the Virgo energy, so be careful what you wish for. Oh no, how awful. What am I going to do? Well, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay, Libra. Like, yeah, there's time apart, but you're not going to lose everyone who's dear to you through this. You're not. When you focus that much on the other, sometimes you need some time with yourself. Getting to understand yourself, because what's within there? That hidden knowledge. Look at the space you haven't gone to. You can meditate more. You can get in touch with yourself more. You can even try some new things. You can even try some new things. I know it's scary, but it's not a real thing. Okay? We know what the real fears are. We know what the unjustified fears are, Libra. Loneliness isn't fun. Isolation isn't fun, but you can work with this. It's not going to be the permanent state of affairs, even though what we're going through will probably last for the next 2 years in different ways. Two of Swords. Get in touch with your feelings. Because I'll tell you what, this is going to make you feel like you're able to do so much more independently coming out of this. The Chariot. The Chariot, okay? Where you finally head if you can work through this. I hope that makes sense for you, Libra. Next sign is going to be Scorpio. Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. If you want to talk about Saturn, Melinda, I have Saturn at exact stationary degree, conjunct my Libra ascendant. And it's a pain. It's a massive pain. But we all got to go through this stuff. We all got to work through this stuff. We all signed up to the experiences that exist within our charts. Some more challenging than others. Scorpio. You got some ideas, Scorpio. You got some ideas. Little brain waves. I'm going to do this. I could do this. Channel that. Channel that into ways that you can help. Because I want to say you feel surprisingly strategic. This creative sort of strategy coming through from you where you're saying things quite clearly at this time. Two of Swords. Not bad. This is strategy. Thinking things through. And I want to say it's about helping. It's about finding ways to be loving. Finding good ways to be loving. Knight of Cups. It's your challenge. Your advice is the Wheel of Fortune. You're going to get opportunities to help. Opportunities to offer love at this time, Scorpio. Very, very positive. Very positive. There's something else trying to come through as well. Okay, you're getting ideas of how to help, getting ideas of how to be loving. So this is in a practical sense. This may also be being loving to people who you're close to as well. You might be a little forceful at this time. You might be a little overwhelming, overbearing at this time, Scorpio. Take advantage of what you are creating within yourself, of these insights, of the ways you can help, but don't force yourself and them upon people. That's the balance of the Two of Swords there. That's the balance of the Two of Swords. But there is space to help. You can start to show other ways of doing things. You know, it's the Knight of Cups here is doing what the Knight of Cups often does, is crossing the water there. So there are people you can be reaching out to. Feels positive for you, Scorpio. You have a lot to offer this month. I hope that makes sense for you. Mimi, bloody embarrassing. Never chased anyone like this. Oh, I fucking have. It hasn't gone well, but never mind. And Pam Wilkes. Zelda, can you explain your pricing? Because I don't know the numbers. Sure, Pam. Sure. My prices are in British pounds at the moment because that's my home currency. At the moment, I believe that I charge £30 for a 15-minute reading, £45 for a 30-minute reading, £65 for an hour-long reading. Obviously, if you are genuinely hard up or badly hit, and that is beyond your means, then get in touch, because I do offer sliding scale to those in need. Please only do that if you are genuinely in need. Obviously, I trust you on that. Remember that the energy you carry into a reading is what you get out. But I don't turn people away if I feel I can help them. Obviously, you'd need to scale up those prices to your home currency if you're not in the UK. But I would stress that the system does that automatically. So PayPal or the card system will tell you. Melinda St. Clair, do you think Saturn ascendant means you'll never get any wrinkles, age gracefully? I have plenty of wrinkles, Melinda. I have a good foundation on. I've had some plastic surgery on my face a few years ago. So I hope to age disgracefully, obviously, like most of us. You're welcome, Pam. If there's anything I can help with as well, like, feel free to send me an email or a message before booking if it will help you too. You're very welcome to get in touch. It's not a problem. Thank you for the very, very kind plug and review, Super Angry Koala. Where are we up to? Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Sag. You're learning what's important to you, Sagittarius. This is going to confound some of the Sag stereotypes, and that's a good thing. You're learning what's important to you. You're coming in as the magician. And this magician I always find interesting. It's a very relaxed magician. Very relaxed magician, and you've got to be relaxed at this time, Sag. You can't be super active, you can't be super expressive, you can't be running here, there, and everywhere. So therefore, you have more time to get acquainted with yourself and decide what's important to you. What can you work on? What can you influence? What can you create? More importantly, who are you? Who are you, Sag? Who are you? Not who you thought. I have the Hanged Man showing up. I also have the High Priestess showing up. You're getting in touch with your identity. You're getting in touch with the things that you've told yourself are important to you, the things you define yourself by, the things you feel you rely on. The ones that are external to you especially. And you're reevaluating that. And you're finding what it is that actually makes you tick. I have the High Priestess for you. This is an illuminating time for you, Sag. As you suspend judgment in your identity, in the things that you hold dear, the things that you attach to, including certain freedoms, you learn more about yourself, reveals more to you, and in turn you feel more comfortable to sit back, to take a back seat, to be part of things rather than separate from them, or defined in opposition to them. It's a major flip. Also necessary. This slowdown is bringing you, Sag. I hope that makes sense for you. The next sign is going to be Capricorn. Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising for Aries season. Is Capricorn energy predominantly setting all of this year up? As we know, still got Mars in Capricorn, even with Saturn moving into Aquarius shortly. Mars is making a nice little journey through your sign, Capricorn. Plenty going on. Renee says, is it ever? Of course, Pluto is not far behind with Jupiter and Mars yet. And my Sun and Venus are not conjunct, Melinda. Thank you for remembering that I'm a Capricorn Venus, though, which I am. No, my Venus is squared by Saturn, Jupiter, and my ascendant. My Sun is squared by Pluto. At this moment in time, I have Pluto and Saturn conjunct my Sun. So I'm riding that as best as I can. But anyway, so I'm a Capricorn Sun. This is Capricorn. This hits me as much as it hits you. So if it's a big takedown, it takes me down as well. Capricorn. You know what, Capricorn? You're going to feel joyful. You're going to feel powerful. You're going to feel really fucking wonderful if you take the pressure off of yourself. If you take some of the pressure off, Capricorn. Oh my fucking goodness. Like, yeah, you got to get where you're going at some stage, but it's not business as usual. It can't be business as usual. Maybe you're working less. Maybe you're doing less. Maybe this, maybe this, maybe this. Maybe you're going to get sick and need to take a lot more rest, Capricorn. I'm not saying you are. But you're coming in with the 10 of Wands. It's like you haven't accepted shit here about what you need to be doing. Oh my goodness. Can you turn and face what's going on, Capricorn? Can you? Because, yeah, it's a slowdown. It is. You're not going to get places as fast as you expected. No one is. That's okay. 7 of Pentacles. Okay. So what does that mean? It means you've got to appreciate where you're up to so far. Can you do that? Can you appreciate what you've achieved so far, where you're up to? Get more acquainted with yourself. Give yourself a bit of credit. Tell yourself you're going to be okay. Tell yourself you can race. Tell yourself you can stop. Tell yourself you can slow down. The Magician is your advice card. Engage your almighty mind, Capricorn. Use it to look at all you've achieved and get off your own case. Yes, it's tough. Yes, it's hard going, but you don't have to be superhuman, okay? You don't. In the process, again, as you slow it down, maybe you'll come up with more creative ways to get where you want to be. Like, it doesn't all have to be the hardest possible work. There are ways of working magic to make things that bit easier and more straightforward as well, Capricorn. You do have that within you, okay? You are a magical sign as well. I hope that makes sense for you. I can see how that would be scary, super angry koala, and people should be showing you absolute gratitude and thanks and love for the fact that there's people like you out there helping us through this. The next sign's going to be Aquarius. Aquarius, sun, moon, and rising for Aries season. Aquarius. There's a time for conspiracy theories, Aquarius. There's a time for thinking you know it all, and there's a time for piping down a little bit and realizing what you're trying to escape through that stuff. Big picture, sure. Constant suspicion of everyone and everything, no. You're coming in with the universe. And what I want to say the universe is giving me here is you may be getting the wrong end of the stick just a little bit, okay? You may be getting the wrong end of the stick just a little bit in your desire to know everything about everything. And I do want to warn you about some specific things, all right? The virus is not man-made. Nature being more out of balance with how we're living, that is man-made. Makes this more likely. The extent of the crisis, that's man-made. But you can leap from there to some stuff that takes you away from reality and maybe away from empathy. Nor can you think your way past this. You got to take this seriously like everyone else, okay? You can't detach from it because it's in your life. I have the moon as your challenge, Aries. Sorry, Aquarius. What do you try to escape from? You have a very powerful mind if it's harnessed and used effectively. not when you're trying to escape from being within the world, dealing with the world. This situation requires you to be within the world. You're also the humanitarian sign, Aquarius. Humanitarianism doesn't mean detaching, thing that you're better from everyone else or anything else. It means getting your hands dirty. Not fucking literally instantly wash your fucking hands, but you know what I mean. The advice card is the King of Cups. You've got to be mature. You've also got to allow people to be within your life more, Aquarius. That's one of the things that you flee, is close connection, loving connection. Somebody wants to open their heart to you, Aquarius. Can you even see it when they do it? Or are you off intellectualizing? You're getting more up close and personal with the world this month, Aquarius. You have to. We need you in it. We need your heart in it. Not comfortable is necessary. I hope that makes sense for you, Aquarius. The next sign is going to be Pisces. Pisces, sun, moon, and rising. For Aries season. Almost there. Final sign. Pisces. Given how the last month has been, is anyone sorry to see the back of Pisces season this year? Sorry to any Pisceans watching. I'm a progressed Pisces, Melinda, if that counts. There you go. No more of my chart now. Pisces. Trying to settle back into normal life as the Pisces energy eases up. How's that going to go for you? How's that going to go for you? Don't close off. Don't close off, Pisces. Don't point the finger. Too hard, okay? Don't point the finger too hard. You're coming in with the Queen of Swords. Can be a far-sighted energy, but here this can be a cynical energy. They're doing that. They did that. They're doing that. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's shit. That's crap. Fuck that. Everything externalized. Everything externalized. It's not the way. It's not the way. I have the Six of Pentacles for you. I also have the Four of Cups for you, as we've seen a few times today, making one final appearance. Can you receive, Pisces? Can you receive? Can you be satisfied with the things that you have? Can you be satisfied with yourself? How much are you projecting your dissatisfaction with yourself onto the external world, Pisces? At the same time, who are you allowing to get at you when they shouldn't be able to? Four of Cups there. There's some rebalancing that needs to happen within you, Pisces. It's rebalancing. I feel like you externalize the wrong stuff. You internalize the wrong stuff. The wrong people get access to you, affect you, impact you, and then you take it out on other people or other situations that don't deserve it, and you need to be taking the time to reconsider this at this time. Balance it out, weigh it up. Six of Pentacles. Important work for you. At a time when everything is just that bit heightened, as we're aware, your head can go down. Is somebody external pushing your head down? Are you lowering it so as you can't see something good? Is it both? Breathe, Pisces. Somebody wants to reach you this month. Wants to offer you something. Can you be open to receive what's genuine and turn away what's not? I hope that makes sense for you, Pisces. That is all 12 signs. I do have time now to answer a couple of questions. If you do have a question for me, pop it in the live chat. I will see which of you I am drawn to. Whilst I'm waiting for those to come in, please remember to like and share the video. Please remember to subscribe and enable notifications. If you share the video, it does help. It does help a lot. The other things that help are booking me for a reading and indeed leaving me a donation if you find my work useful. Remember, if you want to book a reading, I do offer sliding scales as well. Remember that if you make a donation, it's easier for me to offer those. Melinda is asking, will you consider coming on for community chats sometime? I'd be really happy to, Melinda. Might be on Facebook rather than on YouTube, just because I'm likely to get a bigger number of people on there. We can have a bigger chat, but I'd be happy to do that for sure. Pam Wilkes, Zelda, how are my lawsuit, positive or negative? Well, you're not giving me much to go on, Pam. So it's going to be a straightforward pull. Let's get a sense of what you are dealing with. And don't overinvest. I want to say, Pam, don't overinvest. That's a part of it. Keep something back. I feel like there may be a delay on your lawsuit. I have the Seven of Swords. I also have the Nine of Pentacles. Is this something that can be settled out of court? Does it have to go to court? What would you settle for? Are you asking for too much? The main message that I'm getting for you. I hope that makes sense for you. Super Angry Koala, Zelda, silly as this is, could I have a card for the attractive yet intimidating Taurus I met yesterday? I've had two flip over for you. There's potential. There's potential if you can stay the course. It's difficult to stay the course at this time for obvious reasons, but there's potential there. 2 of Pentacles, 10 of Cups. So there's something in the way at the moment. It's probably coronavirus, but there's something in the way at the moment. Difficult to stay in, but there is space for something to grow here over time if you are patient. Doesn't mean you have to look that far ahead, but there's a potential there. Feels like you might not both decide to step into it, at least straight away, but it's there at least. Mimi on stage. Will Bobby Shafto come back and marry me? Probably not. Probably not. It sounds like a difficult choice to make. 2 of Pentacles, but I feel more than anything else, this is something from the past that I feel that you're clinging on to. That's going to hold you up. It is going to hold you up when he's probably isolated himself, or they probably isolated themselves. King of Cups. Isolation. Pulled away. 9 of Pentacles. I don't feel so, and I don't feel that it's healthy for you to continue to focus on that. I feel like this is one that you really need to let go. 8 of Swords is your shadow card here. You're trapping yourself. You're trapping yourself. You're limiting yourself. Now, this doesn't just go for you. This goes for anyone asking this kind of question. Will this person come back? What are you actually doing when you ask that question? This is what you're doing. Trapping yourself, disempowering yourself. The answer to this one is no, but if I told you yes, what would happen? You would lock yourself up, hold yourself up, not move forward, focus on this particular thing that's out of your control. What's in your control? Building your own life, moving forward, building your independence, being the best you can be. And then if someone comes back, they add to it. But if you just dump this big part of yourself there and leave it in the hopes that somebody comes back, that disempowers you hugely. Someone comes back in or someone new comes in, that's a bonus. The moment you start focusing and relying on that, you trap yourself, and what's more, you bombard that situation with energy. You lock it up. You guarantee it can't shift. What else? Thank you for being you. Do you have any insight on my love life to keep it light? Okay, what else? Don't get too attached. What else? Don't get too attached. Something feels good. Something feels good, but it might not stay good. And if you get too attached, if it does go sour, it's going to be harder to push away, to turn down, to accept the loss of. You come in with the 6 of Wands. Good, great. In the moment. In the moment. Accept it in the moment for what it is. Feels great. What happens if you expect too much of it? 5 of Swords. It's nasty. How well do you know this person, really? Why you can't overinvest? Watch out for that. 4 of Cups. For you, like with so many signs. Ultimately, something's going to be good for the moment, but you're going to turn it down. You're going to walk away from it. You're going to go and do something else, I feel. Enjoy the moment. Don't get attached. It will drain you. 5 of Wands. Don't over-invest in somebody who you don't know that well. Take it much slower, and simpler. Give yourself the space to detach and walk away whenever you need to. Thank you also so much for being here. Please feel free to get in touch if I can help you in any way at all. We are going to come through this, you know. It's not going to be fun, a lot of it, but it doesn't have to be as bad as we might be making out either. Okay, there's space within this. Remember, you need to be looking out for everyone. Take safe precautions, be vigilant, but look out and watch out, especially for those who are being left behind in the midst of this. You can't only focus on yourself at this time. At this time. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, evening, night, or morning, depending on where you are in the world. I'll see you all again really soon.